Montreal Alouettes released two-time 1,000-yard receiver Naaman Roosevelt on Monday, which drew a strong reaction across the country. Why was he released, and where do you see him ending up in the CFL?
To be honest, it seems like age, at least in the Owls' mind, played a factor. But for me, to have a veteran presence who the last time he played Canadian football nearly had 1,000 yards could be really valuable to that team, and especially Vernon Adams Jr., because Naaman Roosevelt is a chains moving machine, especially on those critical second and long situations, Hodge, that we so often see in our great CFL game. So to me, it was surprising. They had released former NFL receiver Eli Rogers a little earlier in training camp, and there are some people that will tell you across the league that the Alouettes at least feel like they have a stacked receiving core, and there are some good receivers there, including Geno Lewis and Quan Bray, who got back over the border, and Jake Weineke, who had a stellar rookie season. But I find it hard to believe that they couldn't find a way to understand that Roosevelt would make their team better. And I would imagine that once cuts happen, and maybe even a little further down the road if there's some injuries, that a team this year is going to want to bring in Roosevelt because of his veteran experience in his hands. He had, in 2019, the best catch rate out of any receiver in the league.
Yeah, and one of the things that crossed my mind was, well, maybe, they've got Jake Weineke there as, reigning East Division most outstanding rookie, kind of as the possession guy. Maybe you don't want two possession guys like that, but at the same time, they signed Roosevelt after Quan Bray got into legal trouble down in the States. And I assumed, okay, so this is the replacement for Quan Bray. You've got Naaman Roosevelt, bit of a different style receiver. Quan Bray is a little bit more flashy, a little more explosive, can stretch the defense a little better. Whereas Naaman Roosevelt is more likely at this point of his career, he's 33, to kind of, find the hole in the zone, sit down, make the catch, move the chains, as you said. Now, obviously, Bray is back. He's making a little less money than Roosevelt was supposed to. He's also signed for 2022, which not many players are in the CFL. Most CFL players are up after this year. So maybe those are factors. But Dunkster, I certainly believe he's going to be back in the CFL. I think that team is going to be Ottawa. I don't think the Red Blacks are rushing to make that signing because you never know which receivers are going to come available. But I certainly think he'll be back. Which team? If you had to pick right now, where do you think Naaman Roosevelt's playing in 2021?
The obvious choice has got to be the Red Blacks, right? I mean,
the Red Blacks. There we go.
Ottawa might get a little fortunate here if, the Saskatchewan Roughriders can't keep their 6 talented Canadian receivers. And depending on how they've scouted some of the other teams, get a playmaker or two there for essentially nothing, right? Pick them up off the street, which Roosevelt is currently on right now. But overall, to me, that just makes a ton of sense. Although there are a lot of moves that the Red Blacks have not made that a lot of people think that they should have made. So maybe we don't really know anything.